Hi everyone, and welcome to video 3 in our series on pedal steel guitar basics. Today we're going to look at the important task of playing 7th chords on the pedal steel guitar. I've got my Mullen G2 12-string universal tuning pedal steel here. It's tuned to a D9th A6th universal tuning. However, the first 8 strings of this tuning are identical to the Nashville 9th tuning. The only difference is this is a D9th, not an E9th tuning. So when I refer to a fret position on my tuning here, if you're playing the E9th Nashville tuning, you'll just have to use a fret position 2 back from what I'm doing. So if I say I'm playing on the 10th fret, you will need to play on the 8th fret to match the same notes that I'm playing. The first way to play a 7th chord that we want to look at is where we use the first pedal on the steel. That is the pedal that raises the 5th and 10th strings on the Nashville 9th tuning. On my universal tuning, that's actually the 5th and 9th string. Raises those strings a full tone. So I'm on the 5th fret. That's the G major position for me with pedals up. 3rd fret on the E9th tuning. So any of our standard string grips there will give me a G major chord. If you're not sure of those, check out my earlier videos where I talked about playing the major chord on the pedal steel. So pedals up position, G major. First pedal engaged, turns G major to E minor. Now if we engage the knee lever that raises our 4th and 8th strings a semitone, that turns E minor into E major. So a G major chord on the 5th fret pedals up becomes an E major chord if we engage the first pedal and the knee lever that raises our 4th and 8th strings a semitone. Now, if we play E major and then lift up our first pedal so we are in a pedals up position, we get an E7th chord, because the note that was E, when we lift off our first pedal, becomes D. And in that case, we've got 3 notes out of an E7th chord. So what we've now got is a way to play on the 5th fret, pedals up, G major, first pedal down and knee lever raising the 4th and 8th string, E major, lift up our first pedal, E7th. Now the real clue there is we've got a very simple way to play any 7th chord in the pedals up position by just using the knee lever that raises our 4th and 8th string a semitone. So here's how we can build some really interesting riffs. In the pedals up position on the 5th fret, we've got a G major chord. Now if we slide up to the 8th fret and engage the knee lever that raises the 4th string a semitone, we've got a G7th chord. So we've got a lovely slide option there to go from a major to a 7th. If we went to C major chord, which for me is on the 10th fret, up to the 13th fret, C7th chord. So I'll just play that again. A progression of G to G7th, C to C7th, no pedals depressed, only using the one knee lever that raises the 4th and 8th string, that semitone. So here we go. G, G7th, C, C7th. Now another way to play a 7th chord is to think of the pedals down position and find where the major chord is with both pedals down. So if we stick with the C major chord, for me that's again on the 5th fret, and if I play 1st and 2nd pedals down on the 5th fret, that's a C major chord using all of the conventional string grips on the 9th tuning. Now if I take that back 2 frets, I've got a B flat chord, but if I lift up my first pedal, leave the 2nd pedal down, and this time engage the knee lever that lowers the 4th and the 8th string a semitone, we've now got a perfect way to play C7th. So 2 frets back from the pedals down position for any major chord. If we change to only the 2nd pedal down and the knee lever that lowers our 4th and 8th strings, we've got a fantastic new way to play a 7th chord. So C, 5th fret, sliding back, C major to C 7th. All the string grips. On the standard Nashville 9th tuning, the 9th string out of the 10 strings is tuned to the flattened 7th note in the scale of the open tuning. So on an E 9th tuning, the 9th string is actually tuned to D, a full tone lower than the root note of the tuning, E. On my universal tuning, I don't have that same flattened 7th string in my open tuning. What I have is on my 9th string, which is tuned to A for me on a D 9th tuning, I have a knee lever that raises A up to C, 3 semitones. So if I'm playing a standard major chord, for example here, and I put the knee lever on, you can hear that I've changed, in this case, a G major chord to a G 7th. Now on the Nashville 9th tuning, if you're running the standard tuning, you would actually engage the 9th string to do that. So instead of playing, for example, 4, 6 and 8, you might go 4, 6 and 9 on your Nashville tuning to get that 7th happening. And any of the conventional major grips, when you engage the 9th string on the standard tuning, turns a major chord into a 7th chord. I don't miss anything at all out of that flexibility because I've got that knee lever that can recreate the same effect. And on the universal tuning, the way that the strings allow you to brush across the open tuning without any clash tones is one of the ways that the universal tuning simulates the big fat jazz chords playable on the C6 tuning. So there you have it, a number of simple ways to play a 7th chord, the dominant 7th chord on the standard 9th tuning. I hope you've enjoyed that. Do experiment and master those 3 different combinations that can easily change a major chord into a 7th chord. It's an incredibly important chord in all forms of music. Bye for now.